Climate change, housing, transport, water rights, well, they're just some of the major issues facing New Zealand now. With more than 500 planners, resource managers, designers, environmental practitioners are going to meet in Dunedin. This week is an annual meeting to see how we'll plan for the future. And the organisation's chair is Bryce Julyan, who joins us now. Bryce, thank you for coming in.
Morning.
Do you not just wake up exhausted at the thought of having to sit down for 4 days with 500 people and try and come up with some semblance of order and a plan?
Yes, I think that does sound quite daunting, but it's not very often we get together as a group of national practitioners, so it's very important for us to have those conferences and meetings and get together and really translate ideas and share thoughts and knowledge and that about planning issues.
Surely one of the big issues here is, because this is a national conference, trying to put together planning ideas for the nation, but yet you draw everyone from all the various different I don't know, the warrens they live in. Auckland comes to this and that. Yeah. They're all focused on their little ship, aren't they? So how do you somehow get a cohesive plan together?
That's a real challenge. Of course, a lot of the issues are the same, but then some of them are quite different. So, somewhere like Auckland has to face a lot of urban issues and urban planning and the urban stresses of transport and housing and infrastructure provision are probably paramount there.
And schools and power and water and everything else.
Things, that's right.
Yep.
And then as you move out into the sort of regions, a lot of the issues that face them may be more environmental, water quality and the impacts of intensive dairying, on our water systems.
It does seem like, because I mean, the first question potentially could have been to you, what's the biggest issue facing New Zealand now in planning? Yeah. But it changes wherever you go. Is there one defining issue which you'll be focusing on over this 4 or 5 days?
I think there's 3 key issues, and as you mentioned, there's the water issue. So water allocation, water quality issues is a big area, especially in New Zealand and our regional rural economies.
And it's a very hot topic right now.
Very hot topic. Then you've got the issues of climate change and sea level rise, and I think there was an item on the news last week about the climate change conference.
See, this is an interesting one. There was an item, and it was down on Tamaki Drive in Auckland.
That's right.
Yet other people looked at that issue saying, hold on, that's not climate change. That's because Tamaki Drive is sinking, which is another planning issue, because is the council spending enough on Tamaki Drive? So even there you see issues actually getting sort of confused.
Yeah, you're right, and I think that's a lot of the job of the planners really, is to try and engage with the community and try and have that conversation, because so many, it's easy to sort of jump to a conclusion, isn't it, sometimes with things like that, and you can see it. But really, the planner's job is to try and research that, look at the evidence and the information and try and bring that together and say, look, this is a plan, we've got to do something in the future. Put it in place and let's work towards it. And
that's an interesting one in itself, because the planners, you guys, you put together this plan. You put it to the people who have the chequebook and the power to actually make this stuff happen, i.e. local and central government. And then often you must just bang your head on the wall if this isn't actioned.
Well, I couldn't comment on that, but yes, that's right.
That's a yes.
There's a lot of, I suppose, sharing of information and that we have to put towards the decision makers, and the decision makers like council bodies have to then make those decisions. But economics and that plays a big part in those decisions. We've got an international speaker coming to talk about how we can bring some of that evidence in our economic areas across our urban areas and translate that into the effects of our land use change, and are we getting the best value, if you like, out of our land uses in our urban areas particularly, but that would apply equally in other areas.
It's a phenomenal job, and so it doesn't surprise me that you have to, on an annual basis, get 500-odd people together to try and get some sort of semblance and order and progress out of it. Bryce Julyan, thank you very much for coming in and sharing an insight into what is involved in organising and running this annual conference for planners.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You got a feel for planners sometimes, because when it comes to things like housing crises, they go, oh, if only we had better planning. They always seem to get it in the neck.
They do, but at the same time, I know this is what Bryce sat on the fence over, because they put forward the plan and say, we believe in all our expertise and with all our research and with all the various input from all the various parties, this is the way forward. So can you please just make it, sign the cheque?
Yeah, get the politics out of the way, make it happen.